What's going on, everybody? It's Rooks2. I'm back with another episode of Lucid9. Let's just get right down to it. You know who I am? Know you? How could I not? It's only been 4 years. Then you were faking it, of course. Why were you pretending not to notice me earlier? I knew you recognized me. Well, it's not every day you see an old friend who just decides to disappear one day. She stops at that, a flicker of irritation crossing her eyes and my gutting tone. It's not like I wanted to leave Sito, Yama. So why did you? My mother didn't leave me with much of a choice. You mean Saitomi? She nods. You could have at least told us you were moving. I couldn't. I wait for an elaboration, but it never comes. That's it? You just couldn't tell us? Why not? Do you mind if we can talk about it later, Yama? I'm not very comfortable discussing it in class. I open my mouth to object, but something about Misaki's expression prevents me from pursuing the issue further. She genuinely seems distraught. Wait. Yama wore a goodbye kitty kimono and called Misaki the Tooth Fairy? Luckily, Hiko manages to change the subject. I decide to play along for the time being. I was a little kid, dang it. I hear excuses. All excuses. It's not an excuse. There's a legitimate explanation. I somehow fell and got my yugata dirty. And it was at the festival, and we weren't very close to home, and Miki had an extra kimono. A good, kitty kimono? Yes. Somehow, having Hiko mock me just makes the entire thing 10 times worse. I cast a half-pleading, half-indignant glare at Misaki, who only shrugs in response. It isn't my fault. You enjoy cross-dressing. I don't. If only I had patter at the time, I would have taken a photo. Wait, so what's this patter you keep mentioning? Judging by the reactions I'm getting, I've just committed a huge faux pas. You don't know what patter is? Where have you been? Where have you been living your whole life? Under a rock? Well, technically, that's what my name would imply. What? Is it like the Secret Service database or something? Far more important, it's the most popular social networking website in today's society. I really question your priorities. Through Patter, you share posts with 90 characters or less. That's all I'm saying. It allows you to spread important news, demonstrate your support, provide instant feedback to questions, or just blog about your day. Okay, my Twitter. Government got big because of Patter, I guess. As for me, I like to give updates on the progress of my day. Okay, fine. But does anybody actually care? A sudden deathly chill pervaded the room. My second major faux pas of the day, apparently. People care. Are you sure? Because the way I see it, tapping 2 buttons doesn't exactly make you. They care. They care, damn it. Don't say nothing different till you pat yourself. Don't say nothing? Intense? Misaki? Wait, what? But the conversation grinds to a halt when Misaki's phone trills in her hand. She immediately regains her composure. Kazuhaya speaking. Yes? Understood. I'll be there in 5 minutes. She cuts the call and shoves her phone into her pocket, looking me square in the eye. I must go. Duty calls. Duty? What kind of duty? My employer has a job for me. Job? Now? What about school? Oh, I'm sure they'll excuse this one. Let's talk again later, Yama. Oh, and make sure to bring Rio, okay? Goodbye. And like a tornado stalking its next target, she blazes out of the room. I'm left completely dumbfounded with a Yahiko who's dancing around the room like he just won his mansion on the moon. I have a fan. I have an actual fan. A real fan. I wonder how long it'll be before I can pledge her to my service as my first true minion. God damn it, Yahiko. I wordlessly leave him in his fantasy of world domination and head to the cafeteria. It's more out of routine than actually feeling hungry. The shock of running into an old friend after 4 years might have something to do with that. Maybe I should be angrier at Misaki, but at the same time, who knows what had happened with her and her mother. She seemed pretty uncomfortable talking about it. At least she's here now. I guess that's all that matters. If Misaki wants to tell me, she will on her own tell me. Time. The cafeteria is broad and beautiful, boasting polished surfaces and tidy, well-lit spaces. Modern furniture settles well on the brushed mahogany floor. Students in pristine uniforms travel to and fro, scooping food from the extensive buffet counters around the perimeter of the cafeteria and returning to their friends. I spot Ryu in the back corner of the cafeteria, staring up at the skylights with a thoughtful tilt to her head. Actually, this would be a perfect time to tell her about Misaki. Ryu would be thrilled to see her again. Hey, Ryu. She jumps slightly at the sudden sound, and only then do I remember that I'm supposed to be apologizing for being dramatic yesterday. Except I've never been great at apologizing, or even good, or actually even mildly passable. So, how are you? I'm doing okay. How was class? It was okay, I guess. Oh, okay. We shuffle for a moment and I finally cleared my throat. About yesterday. It's okay, Yama. I know that seeing the bus must have brought up some memories. You were just lashing out. But I shouldn't have. No, I guess not. So next time something like that happens, I reserve the right to slap you silly. And just like that, everything is right between us. What have I done to deserve a friend like this? Thanks. But buy me lunch. Wow. What a oh, come on, it's only fair. If I go into debt, I blame you for constantly mooching off of me. Are you ever gonna pay for your own food? Probably not. But you can't count those grocery tips because I ended up cooking everything for you. And yourself. Labor taxes. Let's go already, I'm hungry. But just as she reaches forward and pulls my arm to her side, we hear a very familiar voice from behind. Well, 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 what do we have here?
Hey, there's a teacher. I love this guy. I missed you.
We jerk around in synchronization and promptly come face to face with Mr. Ryota. Ryu quickly squeaks and jumps away, suddenly bashful.
Man, I am just so fucking mad.
Oh, hi, Mr. Ryota. Look at you two, the adorable childhood friends finally getting together after years of unneeded drama. Ah, I feel sick. What is this, some crappy anime? But what? We're not together. I wouldn't go out with Yama in a million years. It's actually really adorable. I struggle to maintain a straight face. I know, I'm just too good for you. She snaps back into Ryu that the rest of the academy knows her as witty, confident, and a touch of malicious. She opens her mouth, no doubt to smite me with some comeback or another, but Mr. Ryota breaks us up. Well, if I don't end up barfing my guts out, you guys will have the most adorable wedding in all of history. And there goes Ryu. How could you say that? Something like that, Mr. Ryota? You're a teacher. You should know better. Oh, come on. You two will look back on this day. Mark my words. With a cheerful wave, he splits to the Faculty Express line. Those words sound fairly ominous. I can already imagine all the embarrassing stories he'd liberally share with the other wedding guests. We'd probably have so many people rolling in the aisles from laughter that Ryu wouldn't even be able to walk properly. What the heck am I even thinking about? Wedding? Ryu? Mr. Ryota is being his usual self, I see. Yep. Now he's got me thinking about... Nope, not going there. Maybe now would be a good time to switch topic. Oh right, I even have the perfect material. Hey Ryu, you're not gonna believe this, but I saw Miki today. Ryu's face cuts to complete blankness in the space of a millisecond. It is really shocking news. Maybe I should have eased it a bit. She ended up transferring to the school, and we coincidentally wound up in the same class. Dead silence. I finally started to feel a prickle of apprehension. We can hang out together again. We can... Did you talk to her? What? Of course, it's Miki. Ryu, what's wrong? Aren't you happy? Well, no, I'm not. As far as I'm concerned, she has nothing to do with either of us anymore. Don't you remember? We were kids who held a stupid grudge for something beyond her control. Come on, we're older than that now. Oh, are we? She didn't really apologize, did she? Well... I pause for a moment. Ryu's expression immediately darkens. I see that she didn't, and I know why. Because she wasn't there to see you fall apart. I don't think you remember, Yama, but you were in a really bad place after she left. Even to the point where, I mean, you know, that wasn't because of Misaki. I know, I mean, yeah, but she triggered the whole thing. It's just, when I think about it, I get mad at her. Really mad. So it's probably best for both her and me if she stays away. So you're not gonna be friends again. The thought is so baffling that I can't help a stutter. In my mind, we'd already been a package deal. Me, Ryu, Misaki, it was either all or nothing. I mean, you're your own person, so you should hang out with whoever you want. But I can't be buddy-buddy with Misaki until she realizes what she's done. I never thought Ryu, of all people, would be irrational. How bad have I been? How bad had I been, exactly? I'd never seen Ryu so upset. At least not in a really long time. Sorry to be a downer. Why don't we just grab some lunch? How about you go on ahead? I need to talk to Mr. Ryota. Okay. Surprisingly, she doesn't ask me any more questions. She heads to the lunch line without a word. Maybe she also feels rotten inside, like something has been lost forever. I shake these thoughts and immediately locate Mr. Ryota, who just popped out of the faculty line and, conveniently enough, is heading in my direction. He watches our separation with an eyebrow raised to his hairline. Oh, are the newlyweds already running into trouble? Ignore this. Good timing, Mr. Ryota. I wanted to ask you something. If the question is whether to officially ask Ryu out, the answer is yes. What? No, that's not the question. Aw, really? That's a bit boring. Ryu and I aren't... You know what? Never mind. I was wondering what it means when you see someone you haven't seen forever, who you thought disappeared off the planet. It means exactly what you just said. Your life actually is a crappy anime. I never said that. Oh, you didn't? Mr. Ryota. Sorry, can't help it. Now, who's this person you haven't seen forever? You just transferred into my class this morning. Ryu heard me. We were really close when we were little, back in our hometown, Sato. Transfer student? Childhood friend? Don't even think about it. Too late. My life is not a crappy anime. It's not. You're right. It's a really crappy anime. So what's the problem? Well, I talked with her, and I think we'll be friends again. Ryu is jealous. What? No. What is this? Junior high? Sorry, I'll shut up. See, when Masaki, or that's the transfer student, left, she accidentally triggered a giant depression state that basically left me in the dumps for a year. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. Ryu claims it was bad. Yama, when can you come to my office today? I want to listen properly to you, and the cafeteria is not exactly an ideal environment. Well, I guess that Mr. Ryota got hired into this job for an actual reason. Okay, guess I'll drop by after school. Or during, really. Either way works. Now after lunch, you gotta eat before the bell rings. Young growing boys need all the nutrition they can get. He can't sound like the wise, all-knowing teacher when he just implied it was fine for me to ditch school. See you later, Mr. Ryota. He only responds with a casual wave before he saunters over to the nearest table, chattering easily with a group of students. I snag a plate of food and search for Ryu, but she's nowhere in sight. Guess that conversation took a little longer than I originally intended. I guess I'm gonna stop that here. I kinda don't have enough energy to keep going. Not really, but at least I got this episode done. So far it's interesting. I'm glad Mr. Ryota came. He's gonna give us some advice, probably in the next episode. But I guess if you guys enjoyed it, give it a like, give it a subscribe, all that stuff. So far, there's a lot of drama going on, and it is kind of like a crappy anime when I think about it. It's dumb, but I love it. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.